King Ashoka, the Great, the Righteous King. Storytelling from Somdet Phra Maha Dhiracaraya, Prasiddhi Khemangkara Mahathera, Abbot of Wat Phra Chetuphon, Wat Po, head monk of northern Thailand. Preface. Somdet Phra Maha Dhiracaraya, Prasiddhi Khemangkara Mahathera, is a venerable monk and a gifted writer. From the young age, he has been a thinker, a literary artist, and a storyteller, composing both prose and poetry in elegant classical forms. Many of his works have been published in various journals, and some poems have even won top awards. One such example is his Khemangkara Somdet Phra Maha, royal poem in honor of King Chulalongkorn the Great, which he composed in 1957 or Buddhist era 2500, while still a young novice named Prasiddhi Chetuphon. Phra Maha, King Chulalongkorn the Great. Phra means the sovereign lord, supreme and revered. Piya means beloved, the king of boundless grace. Maha means his great virtue shines and is adored. Raja means his royal deeds illumine all Siam. In addition to his literary talent, Somdet Phra Maha Dhiracaraya has also shown a deep interest in understanding the human mind through the study of astrology, astronomy, and logic disciplines he connects to Buddhist principles. He has said that to know the mind is to win the mind. To win the mind, one must inspire pride and courage. To him, astrology is a method of understanding human nature through statistical observation. His keen curiosity arises from his love of reading both books and people. Tirelessly devoted to serving others, he has dedicated his life to helping those in need. Through his faith and leadership, hospitals, schools, and handicraft centers have been established. Even during crises, whether floods, fires, or storms, he has always been a source of comfort and aid. Now approaching 90 years of age, he remains vigorous and joyful, nourished by merit and fulfilled by service. He has often said, "To relieve the suffering of others is our own happiness." For him, the pursuit of happiness is not retreating into solitude, but rather being like a great Bodhi tree, offering shade and peace to all around. The literary work King Ashoka, the Great, the Righteous Monarch, is of profound relevance to the modern era of Sangha reform. It draws lessons from history to guide the present and safeguard the future, reminding us that history often repeats itself. As Thai society advances rapidly into an age of technology, the monastic community inevitably feels its impact. Without adaptation, the Sangha may face the same challenges that once afflicted the Buddhist world in the past. The story of King Ashoka offers a timeless lesson in social reform, beginning with self-transformation. Once a fierce conqueror, he became a ruler guided by righteousness and compassion. Recognizing the great moral and historical value of this composition, disciples of His Holiness Somdet Phra Maha Dhiracaraya have taken the initiative to publish and distribute it widely, so that it may serve as Dhamma Anusati, a reminder of the Dhamma for all humanity. After the war in the land of Kalinga had ended, Ashoka the Great experienced a change of heart. Time passed, night after night. The harrowing images of war arose to haunt him endlessly. They were visions of violence, burning within his heart like smoldering fire. He saw the corpses of hundreds of thousands of brave soldiers lying scattered across the battlefield in pitiful ruin. At times, he seemed to hear faint cries of pain from those soldiers consumed by flames. The sounds of clashing swords, the beat of war drums, the shouts of valiant warriors fighting with determination and courage. Each soldier sought victory, to be the one to triumph, to strike down the other without mercy. Countless men fell in battle. Many were wounded and maimed, losing arms and legs, condemned to live as cripples. This battle was fought between the armies of Ashoka, the great and the bloody battlefield for control of the Kalinga region. On the battlefield, there were no friends, though the men had never known one another, never harbored anger against one another. They fought and slew in obedience to their commanders, each side striving for victory. That field became a cruel killing ground. Hundreds of thousands of brave soldiers gave their lives, some in pursuit of new territory, others in defense of their homeland. These haunting visions kept resurfacing within his heart. They would fade, only to return again. His sleep was filled with torment. He reflected on the lives of those soldiers, on their families, on the many infants who had just been born. Most of the soldiers were still young, many newlyweds, leaving behind wives and children. War had filled the land with widows and orphans. When the new dawn broke, he pondered again upon the victory he had won. Each time he marched to war, though it ended in triumph, that triumph was always bought with the lives of his people. It was victories earned through the sacrifice of soldiers that had made him a mighty emperor. King Ashoka the Great, the mighty emperor revered by the world, was now pondering in a different light. Was it truly victory, or was it a hollow one? A victory that haunted him, leading him to become intoxicated with pride and self-deception. The king continued to ponder whether there could be another form of victory that did not require the sacrifice of lives, that did not need weapons, that did not result in widows and orphans filling the land. He sat calmly, gazing out the window to observe the world outside. This morning has important event occurred. that could change the king's heart completely. Before him was a sight of a young novice monk holding a ball, going out for alms as per Buddhist tradition. It was the image of a 7-year-old novice walking to receive alms in the morning. The young novice walked serenely. The morning sunlight shone upon his golden robe, and a gentle breeze blew, causing the robe to flutter beautifully. The yellow cloth swayed in the breeze as the novice took his steps. Capturing the king's attention, he paused and reflected in his heart. Who is this young novice? Why does he walk alone so gracefully? He seems to possess such freedom. Yet I, who am called the great emperor, have no freedom to walk alone. Wherever I go, I am surrounded by hundreds of thousands of soldiers. Protection means there is danger. This young novice has no one to protect him, which means there is no danger. Could it be that my greatness is what brings danger to me? At that moment, the king summoned his minister to the court and quickly ordered him to invite the young novice to come and receive alms in the royal palace. May I invite you, venerable novice, to accept alms from me? The king said when the novice arrived. May I offer my respects, Your Majesty? May you live long. The novice respectfully greeted. King Ashoka the Great, with great reverence, offered the alms to the novice. He then expressed his wish to engage in a religious conversations, as the beauty and serenity of the monastic life fascinated him. Venerable novice, after you have received your alms, please allow me to invite you for a meal to further deepen my faith, the king commanded. The minister spread a seat for the novice. After the novice had finished his meal, the king invited him to sit and engage in a conversation on the Dhamma. May I ask your name, venerable novice? With my respects, Your Majesty. My name is Nikrod, the novice humbly replied. Could you perhaps offer some teachings for me, venerable novice? Your Majesty, as a great emperor, you are above all forms of defeat, the novice replied. Yes, I have victory in war, but I suffer greatly when I think of the soldiers who die for me. The king said, Weapons cannot stop war. The novice humbly spoke. Only the weapon of Dhamma can stop war. What is the weapon of Dhamma? King Ashoka the Great asked. The weapon of Dhamma is compassion. Whoever uses compassion as their weapon can stop the war. Friendship is peace. Wherever there is friendship, there is peace. The novice explained. Friendship in peace, Your Majesty, the novice emphasized. King Ashoka the Great felt deeply moved by the teachings he received from the young novice, Nikrota. The king then shared his thoughts. I wanted to be an emperor who ruled over the entire world. I sought to be a king greater than anyone else. I desired fame, honor, and to expand my kingdom wider and more magnificently than my father's reign. To achieve this, I had to use every weapon to fight ruthlessly, to take harsh measures, and to sacrifice the lives of soldiers on every battlefield. No matter how brutal or deadly the war, for victory's sake, I had to do it. If I didn't, I would be defeated by my enemies. Nikrot, the novice sat quietly, listening. The great king spoke as though a father conversing with his child. When the king finished, the novice sat in quiet meditation for a while. Then he spoke. With my respects, Your Majesty. External enemies are not as dangerous as the internal enemies. The internal enemies can secretly harm us at any time. Winning over others 100 times is not as praiseworthy as conquering oneself. When one loses to oneself, only then do they think to conquer others. Negative emotions are the true enemy. When one is defeated by their own mind, they see others as enemies. With my respects, Your Majesty, the novice continued. Life is short and time is limited. Desires have no end. Power is illusory, but friendship is real. Without friendship, there can be no peace. Winning over others is not as important as winning over oneself. Today, you may win, but tomorrow you may lose. Once you have conquered your own mind, you no longer need to wage war with anyone. Conquer the war within yourself, and there is no need to fight and be wounded by external battles. Those who are defeated in their hearts often turn to change others. The great Emperor Ashoka sat still in quiet contemplation, listening to the novice's teachings. He reflected deeply on every word spoken and realized how much he had been reckless in his own life. With my respects, Your Majesty, Nikrot, the novice humbly said, Your Majesty is a great emperor, possessing great courage and strength, fearless and steadfast. You are a mighty ruler whose enemies tremble before your power. But I still suffer, and I am confused by the power and victory I have achieved. The king replied to the novice, With my respects, Your Majesty, power arises from two causes, and each brings different results. Power from weapons ends in hatred, while power of Dhamma brings peace and harmony to the world. Those who wield weapons without Dhamma become cruel, while those who wield Dhamma are wise and are not reckless in life. They are not deceived and will reach the ultimate goal of Nirvana. With that Nikrot, the novice recited a Buddhist verse. Non-negligent is the path to immortality. Negligence is the path to death. Those who are not negligent shall not die, but those who are negligent are like the dead. After hearing the teachings of Nikrot, the novice, King Ashoka the Great experienced a profound faith in the Buddha's teachings. He decided to dedicate himself fully to supporting and preserving the Buddha's teachings. Confident that compassion would bring peace to the world without a doubt. With compassion toward one another, anger, hatred, and fears of mutual harm would disappear. Life's turning point. King Ashoka the Great, having gained insight into the Dhamma, became one who was no longer negligent in life. He changed the course of his actions, abandoning his previous cruel ways to become a ruler who was just and wise. A great ruler with Dhamma, he left behind worldly greatness and embraced greatness through righteousness. His contributions to Buddhism were immense, and he became a role model for all subsequent Thai monarchs. King Ashoka the Great lived from around 218 to 260 Buddhist era. He was the son of King Pintusan and Queen Siridhamma. He was the grandson of Chandragupta Maurya, the first ruler of the Maurya dynasty of the Magadha kingdom in India. Pataliputta was its capital. King Ashoka the Great had 11 sons and daughters. The Maurya dynasty emerged from the unity of the Indian people who sought to resist the expansion of the powerful Greek king, Alexander the Great, who was attempting to conquer the Indian subcontinent. The people of India wanted their own emperor and did not wish to live under the rule of the Greek king, who was extending his influence over the region. King Ashoka the Great, a magnificent ruler of the Maurya dynasty, made a clear policy declaration that he would support and nurture Buddhism, promoting the Buddha's teachings and spreading the moral code of Dhamma widely across the world. He aspired to bring the world the concept of peace. The profound impact of Dhamma on him led the king not only to practice it himself, but also to focus on the preservation, protection, and promotion of Buddhism. Most importantly, he worked to strengthen the monastic community by organizing councils, expelling hundreds of monks who were corrupt or undisciplined from the religion. Under his patronage, Buddhism flourished greatly. Beautiful temples and monasteries were built across the kingdom, and monks and novices thrived in a well-supported environment. The king provided them with food, education, and facilities for meditation, ensuring that they were well supported in their spiritual practices. As a result of the flourishing of Buddhism, other religions saw a noticeable decline. This led to a large number of people impersonating monks, taking on the robes to live off alms, thus tarnishing the reputation of Buddhism and the monastic institution. This situation became so dire that it was difficult to distinguish between the genuine monks and those who were corrupt. The good monks found it increasingly difficult to live with ease. Some even retreated to caves or valleys, choosing to live alone and refusing to participate in the monastic rituals with the fraudulent monks for up to 7 years. Monasteries, once peaceful, became overrun with fraudulent monks who lacked shame. My good intentions have become a danger to Buddhism, King Ashoka the Great lamented. Your Majesty, please do not lose heart, the chief minister respectfully responded. What can we do to separate and purify the good monks, to give them a place to take refuge? The king pondered. I will immediately take your Majesty's concerns and consult with others to find a solution. The minister replied, Do not delay. Time is limited. Negligence is the path to death. If we wait any longer, Buddhism may vanish or be consumed, the king commanded firmly. The chief minister, accompanied by military officers, traveled to Ashoka monastery and shared the king's concerns with the monks. He urged the pure monks to reconcile and join in the monastic rituals with the fraudulent monks. However, when the pure monks refused to participate, the minister, using his power, severed the heads of the monks who refused even though they were not at fault. When King Ashoka the Great learned of the situation, he was filled with deep sorrow and regret. He reproached the actions of the minister, criticizing the lack of caution and the carelessness of the minister and soldiers, which had caused significant harm to the monastic community. The good monks were killed alongside the fraudulent ones. This event caused the king immense pain, thinking that he had given the orders, but the minister acted recklessly and without compassion. The good monks have been destroyed while the bad ones have been promoted. King Ashoka the Great lamented to the chief minister. Such a great sin has occurred to me because of the carelessness of the ministers. To ease his suffering, the king decided to go to the monks and perform a ritual of apology. He showed clear respect and reverence towards the monks, expressing his genuine intentions and goodwill for Buddhism and the monastic institution. When the monks saw the king's genuine goodwill, the good monks felt joy and appreciation. The fraudulent monks, on the other hand, felt ashamed and gradually began to live the monastic life. Later, as the monastic community started to purify itself, even though it was not yet fully restored to the king's ideal, it provided a place of refuge and encouragement for the good monks, allowing them to continue to teach Dhamma to the people. This means that the king was astute in addressing the problem, preventing potential mistakes and violence from occurring, ensuring that no regrets would follow as had happened with the chief minister's previous actions. With his commitment to the middle way, Majjhima Patipata, King Ashoka the Great was able to maintain a noble character and control his emotions, including anger, hatred, and resentment, in a remarkable manner. His actions were guided by love and respect for the monks. He skillfully presented reasoning and solutions, and the incident became a clear test of his wisdom and his practice of Dhamma. Time and emotions shape the hearts of people. I wish to support the organization of a council to stabilize the perfect of Dhamma and Vinaya. King Ashoka the Great thought, Chief Minister, make haste and seek out the senior monks who are learned in Dhamma and discipline, and have them preside over the council. the king commanded with a serious tone, "Do not delay. Life is uncertain, and time is limited. Do not be negligent. Negligence is the path to death. The negligent person is like one already dead," he emphasized firmly. Although the chief minister had made mistakes and caused harm to the good monks in the past, the king forgave him. Now it was time for the minister to redeem himself, and so he set out to meet with one senior monk named Dhiracaraya, who was an Arahant disciple. He had previously practiced Dhamma at Ashoka monastery. However, when a large number of fraudulent monks came to reside there, he withdrew to a cave in a valley to practice meditation in solitude. When he learned that the king of Ashoka the Great's royal intentions through the chief minister, he agreed to come out of the cave and accept the king's royal faith. "I am pleased to accept the royal faith of His Majesty," the most venerable king, Venerable Dhiracaraya, said to the chief minister. Venerable Dhiracaraya came out of the cave and resided at Ashoka monastery. He convened a gathering of the monks to conduct the third council of the Buddhist teachings under the royal patronage of King Ashoka the Great. This important event took place in the year 234 Buddhist era, or 234 years after the Buddha's passing. The method of the council was to test the monks' knowledge by asking them questions. Those who could not answer were asked to leave the monkhood. No physical punishment was involved. Instead, the focus was on making the monks aware of their shortcomings. Throughout the council, King Ashoka the Great, with great faith, attended the sessions and listened intently all day long. Once the council was completed, all the monks participated in the Ubosot Sankakam, a monastic ritual together, marking the success of the event. When the King Ashoka the Great witnessed the unity of the monastic community, he was filled with great joy and satisfaction. He then decided to have his sons and daughters ordained as monks to spread the teachings of Buddhism. This was a significant act of the patronage towards Buddhism. The son and daughter were Venerable Mahathera and Venerable Sanghamitta. Venerable Dhiracaraya served as their preceptor, teaching them and the Dhamma and Vinaya. One day, King Ashoka the Great began contemplating the stability of Buddhism, realizing that it should not be confined only to the Indian subcontinent, Chompu Tawip, but should be spread to other civilized countries as well. He decided to send missionary monks to different regions to spread the Dhamma so that the teachings of the Buddha would flourish in those lands. "I am interested in missionary work," the king said. "I wish to spread the Buddha's teachings to the world to bring peace to the world. What are your thoughts on this?" King Ashoka asked Venerable Dhiracaraya during his next visit to Ashoka monastery. "With my respects, Your Majesty, this is a great and noble act of kindness. It is a great blessing for the Buddhism, for Your Majesty, and for the people of the world. Your name will be remembered and etched in history forever for your initiative in promoting and spreading Buddhism to the world. Venerable Dhiracaraya responded, "May you continue to compassionately guide us." The king said, "I and the monastic community will take responsibility seriously, as it is direct duty we already hold." Venerable Dhiracaraya responded, "I believe that when people show compassion toward one another, love each other, and refrain from harming each other, cruelty, violence, and the struggle for dominance will come to an end. The world can find peace through compassion. Everyone loves their lives. All living beings are born and must depend on one another to survive. No one can live alone. The spire of a stupa stands tall because it is supported by a solid base, just as the king and his people rely on each other. The lower ranks are supported by the higher ranks, and the higher ranks protect and guide the lower ranks. This mutual dependence ensures prosperity. Like a great tree, whose branches stretched out to provide shade, bear fruit for people to gather, and create seeds to expand endlessly. Compassion works in the same way. I truly decide this. I have limited time. I have already been negligent in the past. Now, I wish to use the remaining time to make amends for all the mistakes made," said the king. "With my respects, Your Majesty. Everyone has made mistakes, whether big or small. Some have realized their mistakes, while others have forgotten them. Mistakes are always valuable lessons. Every human learns from their mistakes. Once you have corrected your mistakes, you will take pride in it. Pride in correction is the ladder to heaven. I regret seeking power, planning to expand territories by sacrificing the lives of hundreds of thousands of soldiers. Even after gaining the land, suffering ensued. Victory brought sorrow. I was happy with the victory only for just a moment. But after that, all I felt was regret. When I looked at the families of soldiers on both sides living with the pain and grief, widows, orphans without caretakers, are scattered throughout the city. They have become a heavy burden on you. Families without fathers are like homes without pillars." The king continued, "That is the past, Your Majesty. Please do not let it trouble you. The past is gone, and we cannot change it. But the present still remains, and we can begin anew. By reflecting on past mistakes and committing to change, guided by compassion, you are beginning a new path that is better than the old one. From now on, you will be safe, your people will live in peace, the entire land of the Indian subcontinent will flourish because compassion. The weapon of Dhamma is far greater than any weapon of war. Compassion will lead the world to safety." The conversation between King Ashoka the Great and Venerable Dhiracaraya was a beautiful exchange of wisdom that touched the heart. It led King Ashoka to change his thoughts and perspective, seeking a new and better way to promote the welfare of his nation, people, and land. It is a great happiness and hope for me to have this Dhamma conversation with you today, King Ashoka the Great said. "Could you help me select learned and capable monks?" The king asked. "With my respects, Your Majesty. It is a great kindness from Your Majesty to be determined to help sentient beings escape suffering. This is truly walking in the footsteps of the Buddha. You will be remembered as a Dhamma king, a great ruler who rules with Dhamma. The world will remember you as a great, righteous king," Venerable Mokkalliputta Thera said. "I am determined to do so," the king affirmed. "What is Your Majesty's determination?" "I am determined to send missionaries to as many regions as possible, at least to 9 kingdoms. I will promptly gather the monks, carefully selecting those who are knowledgeable, patient, possess beautiful conduct, and present them before Your Majesty for your consideration." After the selection was made, Venerable Mokkalliputta Thera submitted the list of missionary monks to King Ashoka the Great. Seeking royal permission to bring the missionaries to the king and express their well wishes in accordance with his royal faith. After careful consideration, King Ashoka the Great approved the establishment of a missionary task force, as agreed upon by the monastic community. He then presented a map of the regions to the missionaries and asked for their voluntary commitment, encouraging each individual to assess their suitability for the task. He also offered encouragement by ensuring his full support for all aspects of their journey, making sure their travel would be convenient, safe, and successful in fulfilling their mission. To expedite the work of the missionaries soon, the missionary effort was divided into 9 paths as follows. Path 1. Venerable Machantika and his group were sent to spread the teachings in the region of Kashmir. Present day is Kashmir. Path 2. Venerable Mahathera and his group were sent to spread the teachings in the region of Mahisamandala, which is present-day Mysore. Path 3. Venerable Maharakita and his group went to spread the teachings in the northern part of Ghana, located in the southwestern region of India. Path 4. Venerable Dhammarakshita, a Greek monk, and his group were sent to spread the teachings in the region of Aparantaka. Path 5. Venerable Mahathammarakita and his group were sent to spread the teachings in the region of Maharashtra. Path 6. Venerable Maharakshit and his group went to spread the teachings in Yona, which is Central Asia, extending to Greek territories. Path 7. Venerable Machantika and his group went to spread the teachings in the Himalayan mountain region. Path 8. Venerable Sona, Venerable Atra, and their group were sent to spread the teachings in Suvarnabhumi, which includes present-day Thailand, Myanmar, and the Mekong River basin, extending to the Chao Phraya River region. Path 9. Venerable Mahin and his group were sent to spread the teachings in Lanka, which is modern-day Sri Lanka. To fulfill the royal intentions of King Ashoka the Great, the monastic community worked diligently. During the subsequent meeting to finalize the arrangements, Venerable Mokkalliputta Thera provided a thorough explanation of key Dhamma principles to ensure everyone understood them in the same manner. The goal of the missionaries, as expressed in his words of the Buddha, is clear. Go forth, monks, for the benefit and happiness of the many, out of compassion for the world. At the same time, he also adopted the principles of the Ovata Patimokkha, the essential teaching which the Buddha had delivered to the monks on the full moon day of the Magha. The heart of this Ovata Patimokkha is the Buddha's deep concern for the missionary monks who would journey to different regions to instruct and guide the people. Its essence is the goal and guiding practice that the monks must teach the people to refrain from evil, to cultivate goodness, and to purify their minds until they are clear and radiant. The Buddha also emphasized the need for missionaries to prepare their minds. The journey to foreign lands, where they might encounter people with different ideas, cultures, and languages, would undoubtedly present challenges. Thus, missionaries must remain mindful, asking themselves why they are there and who they are serving and how they should conduct themselves. Asking oneself these questions is essential, because doing so, when facing challenging situations, the missionary will not lose sight of their purpose. Patience and endurance are necessary to overcome difficulties quickly. The Buddha laid down the principal teachings that, firstly, not to commit any evils. Secondly, cultivate good. Thirdly, purify the mind. Fourthly, the missionary monks must cultivate patience and endurance. Fifth, the missionary monks must extinguish the fires that arise, bringing them to peace in due time. 6. The missionary monks must not think of harming or destroying others, whether human or animal, for such conduct is not the way of a renunciant. The missionary monks must not cause hardship or suffering to others, for such conduct is not the way of the renunciants. 8. The missionary monks must not engage in slander or speech that destroys others. 9. The missionary monks must be restrained and vigilant in regard to the precepts, which serve as armor against danger. 10. The missionary monks must know moderation in eating and in daily living, dwelling simply, eating with restraint, being frugal, not greedy, or indulgent beyond one's needs. 11. The missionary monks must cherish tranquility, seeking quiet places, solitary abodes, peace of body, speech, and mind, not living in luxury beyond their means. 12. The missionary monks must establish their minds with firmness and stability, not shaken or drawn down by worldly temptations. When challenged by the conditions of the world, they must study and train themselves, guarding their thoughts with care. In addition to sending missionaries abroad, King Ashoka the Great practiced these fundamental teachings of Buddhism himself. He also encouraged his people to follow these principles: compassion, forgiveness, and peace. The missionary work of spreading the Dharma abroad began for the first time during the reign of King Ashoka the Great. After the Third Buddhist Council in 234 Buddhist era, As of now, 2568 Buddhist era, it has been 2,334 years. There are several important changes in his reign that should be remembered. First, he ceased engaging in wars of conquest and the mass killing of human beings in order to assert his power. He shifted from conquest by war to conquest by Dhamma. He became known as the Dhammasota Ashoka, the righteous. Secondly, he declared himself a Buddhist and practiced the precepts by attending religious services on full moon days, listening to teachings, and eventually ordaining as a monk. He also had his sons and daughters ordained to continue the Buddhist tradition, including Venerable Mahathera and Venerable Sanghamitta Theri. Thirdly, he built almshouses for both people and animals. He built public services such as hospitals, public gardens, bridges, and wells throughout the kingdom, and also created Arokayasala, hospitals for sick travelers. Fourth, he supported the Third Buddhist Council with Venerable Mokkalibuddhisa Thera, serving as the presiding monk. Fifth, he constructed Asokara Monastery and 84,000 other monasteries, along with erecting 84,000 Ashoka pillars at important locations related to the Buddha's life. These pillars were meant to confirm historical events, and the Ashoka pillars with lion head carvings still stand today as evidence. 6. He established a government system based on the principle of father ruling over children, which was also the model followed by King Ramkhamhaeng the Great during the Sukhothai Kingdom, and has continued to influence governance practices to the present day. 7. He sent missionaries to spread the Buddha's teachings across 9 paths. Demonstrating his far-reaching vision, King Ashoka the Great desired for the entire world to experience peace, wishing to prevent further struggles over territories and natural resources that could lead to more war and bloodshed. 8. He ruled and governed his country based on the principle of Dhammaraja, means rule by Dhamma, applying the middle path, a balanced approach that avoided both cruelty and weakness. He showed forgiveness to those who sought to correct themselves, always offering new opportunities for reform. His serious practice of the Buddha's teachings brought peace and prosperity to his kingdom. King Ashoka the Great is regarded as one of the most important monarchs in history, having integrated Buddhism principles into his rule, becoming a Dhamma Raja, or righteous king, for his people. Under his reign, the kingdom enjoyed peace, stability, and prosperity, and the citizens lived fulfilling lives in loving and harmonious families. King Ashoka believed that the economy and the mind should be improved simultaneously. Even though thousands of years have passed, his beautiful way of life, his profound works in architecture, and the Dhamma that he followed the footsteps of the Buddha continue to inspire until today. The name of King Ashoka the Great has never faded from the pages of world history. It remains prominent and revered by people around the world as the Dhammika Maharaja, the righteous king, because he was a monarch who was vigilant in life. The Buddha's teaching on negligence, which was first offered by Nigrod, the novice monk, was a teaching that transformed the king's heart profoundly. It led him to abandon the use of weapons and hold his wars. Instead, he chose the weapon of Dhamma, cultivating compassion. He adopted Dhammacharya, victory through Dhamma, rather than Samgrama Vijaya, victory through war. The king began to see that the true enemy was not people, but the defilements within his own mind. Moreover, King Ashoka had Venerable Mokkaliputissathera as his advisor, guiding and reflecting on the various events that occur in the monastic community. Although he purified and strengthened the monastic order, he never abandoned the work of sending missionaries to 9 regions abroad. He considered it one of the most important missions of his life. King Ashoka's serious commitment to the promotion and support of Buddhism and Dhamma led to a flourishing religious community. Just as a plant thrives with water and nutrients, so too did the people, living by ethical precepts and in accordance with Dhamma. Monks and novices practice meditation in peace and happiness. These images of prosperity and peace brought immense joy and pride to the king. "I am overjoyed," the king said at the meeting of monks at Ashoka Monastery. "I have great hope and fond memories of seeing the beautiful and clean monasteries, witnessing the golden robes fluttering gracefully once again. This is because your reverence, along with the entire monastic community, has diligently observed, safeguarded, and tightened the bonds of the Sangha. Where there was a deficiency, you filled it. Where there was excess, you share it. On my own, I would not be able to see all the details from every angle and might act with negligence. I have learned from past mistakes and do not wish for them to occur again. I humbly ask that your reverence kindly accept the responsibility, and I will take on the task of safeguarding and nurturing everything." King Ashoka the Great said. Upon hearing the king's words, all the monks gathered and expressed their gratitude in unison. The monks offered their blessings and rejoiced in celebrating the king's faith, wishing him long life and prosperity. They recited an immortal verse together to bring joy and gladness to the king's heart. Non-negligence is the path to immortality. Negligence is the path to death. Those who are not negligent shall not die, but those who are negligent are like the dead. The monks concluded with their heartfelt blessings. With my blessings.